All right, we're back for another movie review. Today we're doing Hard Boiled, the John Woo movie from 92 or 91 or 90,
1992. Yep,
92. Got it right. Okay.
1992.
All right, let's get into it. This was your first time seeing it, right?
Yeah, I've never seen this one before. So I've seen a couple of not John Woo, Chow Yun-fat movies, but I've never seen a Hardboiled before. So
Yeah, I've
I
watched
expect,
it quite a few times. I remember it was one of those, along with Enter the Dragon I mentioned in high school. My little like group of friends, so many of them were like so into John. They were into Bruce Lee and they were into John Woo movies. So they like analyzed Hard Boiled to death, and they basically forced me to watch it, which I did. I was like, yeah, like us. I've seen it many times. But funny enough, it's the movie that right around 2015 I started writing scripts again and everything, and started selling some scripts. When I watched that movie again, I hadn't seen it in like 10, 15 years. Something clicked, and I was like, maybe I should try filmmaking again. So basically, I owe, or everyone that works on Higher Universe movies owes it all to Hard Boiled,
Interesting.
regardless
Was
of
it
your
was
thoughts
it
on it.
any particular thing that made you like click back into it? Was it just the whole movie?
It's just something about it where it's like you just see like the just like the what you can really do with cinema, like I think it's like in my opinion it's like a masterpiece of action where it's just like
Yeah,
it's like holy shit, like this guy is good at his craft and it was just so well done. It inspires you. It's kind of like musicians. Sometimes you hear a song and you're like, that song is so good, it makes me want to make music. For that
I
with
get
me, it
that.
was the one that made me want to do movies.
All right, I can see that. So, I mean, I expected a baby to be way more present through this whole movie based on the poster. So I got the movie, I was looking at the cover poster, and I was like, "Oh, he's holding a baby." So in my head, I started formulating an idea of like, "Oh, this baby must be like halfway through the movie." No, it's way at the end. Like when they finally get to the baby, I was like, "What are they gonna do with this baby?" And then I was like, "Oh, well, I guess it's not part of the whole movie."
Yeah, well, apparently, like up until a week before shooting, the main story was about some crazy serial killer guy who was poisoning babies. And I guess they were a week away from shooting, and all of a sudden, John Woo kind of had his realization, like, that's horrible. We can't do that. So they changed it to like gun runners. So they rewrote the entire script right before they were ready to shoot. And that's why the whole ending part is at a hospital and you see there's like babies and stuff. It
I
seems kind
was
of weird.
wondering why they put like the gun arsenal in the hospital. I was like, that's like the hardest place to put guns in and out of.
Yeah, so that's the kind of, but it just shows, I guess, how quickly they were able to like pivot when because usually if you change the entire premise of
Oh
a
my
movie
God,
right
a
before
week out
shooting,
from shooting? Yeah.
but they just I guess they just kept the action scenes, changed the story, came up with a somewhat sketchily plausible reason for why the guns are in the hospital. It doesn't make much sense, but it's kind of like you could overlook all those things because it's not a thinking man's movie. It's like if
Well,
you're there for anything other than the action, you're gonna be disappointed.
maybe if I spoke Chinese, maybe I'd notice something, but like from what I'm seeing from the version I watched, it's pretty seamless. I would have never been able to tell that this was like a rewritten story. I was just like,
Well,
oh,
honestly, I didn't know. I've probably seen it 10 times. I didn't know until I was reading about it for this review. But now it's like, oh, now that I know that, it makes so much more sense.
well, let's get into it, I guess. So we meet up with Chow Yun Fat, who like I started going down like his IMDb and his like biography a little bit because I just remember when there was a time where like, and this is I don't know, maybe you can tell me different, but like the impression that I managed to pick up from the whole thing, and I remember this clearly from when it was happening. All the movies that Chow Yun Fat made in China were like super good movies that made their way over here, and everybody was like, "These are cool movies," and everybody watched them. He's like, "Man, that guy's so cool." And anytime he made like a Hollywood movie, it kind of stung. Like the
Yeah,
big one I remember was Bulletproof Monk. I like Bulletproof Monk. It's okay. It's not the greatest movie ever.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, even with John Woo, like I think we talked about this on a previous review, where as soon as he came to America, like this was the Hard Boiled was his last movie he did in Hong Kong before he came to the US. As soon as he came here, his movies became Americanized and they lost some of their like soul with like Face Off and some like they're like, okay, they're not horrible, but it's like they lose something. Yeah, check on Fat, like the China movies, like they were taken seriously, they were serious movies. All of a sudden here they were kind of like comedy action, and it's almost like mocking the action genre. Like it's kind of like Jackie Chan movies, right? Like they're not as serious as a Bruce Lee movie. So as soon as
No,
he
they're
came
they're
here, all
kind
of a
of
sudden his
like,
movies were kind of jokey, and it's like, yeah, like if you were a fan of him back in China and then you saw him come here, you'd be like, what are you doing? Like you're making a joke of
that's yeah,
yourself.
it's the wrong use for your Chow Yun Fat because he's not now that you bring up like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. The first thing I was struck by while I was watching this movie is like how much he is not Bruce Lee and how much he is not Jackie Chan. You know, he's not doing like acrobatics all over the place. He's not like super ripped and shirtless all the time. For the most part, he's just a regular looking guy. Like he's not like extra muscular. He's not extra like athletic or anything. He's just a dude.
Yeah, which I kind of like. He's kind of like the Charles
Yeah.
Bronson of China, where Charles Bronson just looked like some middle-aged guy with a mustache, but he was like this action hero, kind of like a Dirty Harry style. So yeah, Chow Yun-fat's kind of like that. Yeah, like he's not ripped like Bruce Lee. Like he doesn't have a particularly striking look, but
Well,
that's
I
what
think
makes him so good, I
I
think.
disagree with you. I think he has a striking look. I think it's just I mean, it's that look that like I think it's hard to describe because I was thinking about it while I was watching it, but it's like Reservoir Dogs, The Matrix. I'm trying to think of the other movies. All of those movies I think very specifically took from Chow Yun-fat, like the glasses, the suits, the cigarette constantly in the mouth. Like I think that's all Chow Yun-fat's look. And like it just was so cool to like American filmmakers that it just like became this staple of the cool guy.
That could be, but I think at the same time, like if you took all like say like the top five or six main guys from Hard Boiled and you'd never seen it before and you just had a picture of them all and you said pick which one is the star of the film, I think you'd have a hard time telling.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they don't, it's not, like
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, yeah, he just looks like a guy that would be the star. Chow Yun-fat just kind of looks, he's the guy that was chosen and they made him cool. But I just don't see anything about him in particular. And his acting is not any better or worse than anyone else. I guess he was just lucky enough to get the leading role and they made a cool character. They even gave him the name Tequila, right? Like it's just like he has like
Yep.
it's like everything he does is trying so hard to be the tough cool guy, which could backfire,
Well,
just make him so lame, but it worked for him.
so in my head, I start thinking like, is there any connection to Tequila and Bonetti, which is like an old cop show from the 90s, late 90s, where it was like a cop and a talking dog, and the cop's name was Tequila and the dog's name was Bonetti, I think. And I was just like, I wonder if there's like a
That
connection there.
very
But
well
like,
could be.
did you have maybe a little reference, honestly? Did you read anything about Chow Yun-fat's like personal life?
No, I don't really know anything about him.
So I looked him up while I was watching this because I don't know for some reason I was just struck by this. You're right. His acting isn't like it's good, but it's not like hands and feet above everyone else. He's kind of keeping his own with the cast. But I think he has this aura around him, or like this like way of carrying himself that like makes you be like that's a cool guy. Whereas like the like Anthony Wong who plays the bad guy in this. Like he has a menacing aura, but he doesn't seem like a particularly cool guy. Anyways, I ended up looking up Chow Yun-fat's like life story and like it's kind of crazy. He was born to poor parents. He like kind of grew up without running water and stuff. Like he was very poor all the way up till like 15 and he had to drop out of school to support his parents. And at 18, he saw a newspaper ad for like acting training in China. This was in mainland China. So he went and did this acting training, and then they put him in a small TV series, and he just kept knocking it down. He did good. He was a drama actor before he was a action star. Apparently, he was in drama TV series, and then like he really wanted to be a movie star, and he ended up breaking through. And like when you think about how like I was reading about it, and I was like, yeah, he grew up like not eating every day, and now he's like one of the most recognizable like movie stars internationally. It's pretty crazy. Well, he's still very cool. Like when all this stuff was happening with Hong Kong, when like the student protests were happening, he spoke up in support of the student protests and stuff. And like China did not like that, and they basically I think they've limited how much he can work because he was so outspoken. And he was just kind of like, all right, cool. I still support the students. I guess I just won't work as much,
Yeah, it didn't
which
seem
is
to
pretty
harm his career
wild.
too much.
Yeah, no, he's doing fine. But I think he's just such a like I was also looking up contemporaneous reviews of this movie, Hardboiled, and like again, everybody refers to him as like the coolest actor or the coolest like, and again, that thought of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he is a big macho goofy guy, but like he's very like he's not a how to put it. I just yeah, he's they're both movie stars, but movie stars of different calibers, I
Oh,
guess. I
absolutely.
think Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would put him as a lesser movie star compared to Chow Yun-fat.
It's yeah, China Yun-fat's definitely a better actor. I'd say that. I think it's just I grew up with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Yeah, fair
growing up
enough.
in on this side of the planet, he was a more famous guy. So I didn't find out about Chow Yun Fat till I
He
saw the.
was, that's true.
But funny thing about this movie though is like I own it on DVD. I've had it for quite a while. So I went to watch it to do this review, but I have a new DVD player I bought, and for whatever
Uh-huh.
reason the disc wouldn't play. And my disc has the it has like the subtitle version and the dubbed like
Region coding
the
and all that.
re-recorded version. So I was like, ah, shit. So I ended up watching it on YouTube, and they only had the original one. They didn't have it with the subtitles. And I know as a filmmaker, like you're supposed to like the original version with the English subtitle, but I don't. And I'd never seen it before. I've only ever seen it with the English dubbing, and
Dubbed.
something's lost. Even though the English dubbing is it's kind of dumb and makes it sound worse, that is a part of it for me. It's like I just grew up listening to that version, and now hearing the better acting version, it makes it like not as charming. Like it's kind of like an old martial arts movie. I want the crappy English dubbing in there because that kind of I don't know, just makes it better. I might be the only one that thinks
It
that,
has
but
a
it's like I
cry
don't
of
know.
nostalgia. Well, I'll agree with you because like I watched it with both the dubbed and the subtitles on there. Like I was watching the English dub, but it also had the subtitles. And the subtitles and the dubbing are wildly different.
Oh, okay,
Like
yeah,
I think in the dubbed version, they call Tony Long's character Long. Uh, no, they call him Alan. They call
yeah.
him Alan in the dubbed version, but then in the subtitled version, his name is Long. So I'm
Oh,
assuming it's like truer to the Chinese style thing, but like, yeah,
yeah.
I was
That's
confused first watching it, being like, huh.
so. What are your overall thoughts on it?
I really liked it. I thought it was a really tight action movie. I'm trying to think of any particular scenes that I really, really liked. That first scene when like he first grabs the two Berettas that are lying on the ground because he grabs the one gun and then he grabs the other gun. I was like, oh, it's on. And then there's like a whole 5 minute shootout scene. I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely like immediately memories came rushing back of Chow Yun Fat with two Berettas just running everywhere. So like I've seen what he can do with those guns. So I liked all the action sequences. I really liked when him and Alan's character like face off for the first time and they're gonna shoot each other and Alan was like, ha, and he gets out of here. And then I'm like, why didn't Chow Yun Fat shoot? And he like empties his gun and it's all empty and I'm just like, I don't know why. It just like kept me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I like that opening scene. Anyone that watches that, like you know what you're in for. It's like that
Yep.
scene is instantly probably the best shootout scene in any movie ever, maybe except for Heat. It's like, and actually I heard, I haven't verified if it's true, but at the time this movie came out, it was the most number of bullets ever fired in a movie.
I mean, I would believe it. I wouldn't say it's untrue at all. Like it, they're shooting a lot. They use for the muzzle fire. Do you think they were using blanks? Do you think
Oh,
that was
absolutely using blanks. Yeah.
yeah? But do you think that muzzle flash was put in digitally? Like, is
No,
there?
I even modern day, so you can tell a lot when that's added digitally. And this was
Yes.
like 1992. Like, yeah, I don't know how they did it, but I'm pretty sure it was real. I think they just used like blanks and squibs and like
You
all
just
the
have to choreograph the shit out of it.
oh,
Like,
like that would have taken ages. And and that building, the tea house where they shot it, that building was going to be demolished in like a week. So they're like, hey, can we shoot this like action scene there and like completely destroy it? And they're like, yeah, like building's being torn down, so do whatever you want. And so they went there, and apparently, like people in the neighborhood were calling the cops to complain about all the constant noise.
noise and
But I
guns.
guess the film crew, or I guess the cops were like fans of John Woo, and so they were like the cops were kind of like, "Don't worry, we'll
We'll
let you
take
guys
care of
continue."
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically they shot this for like 5 days, and then they packed up their gear and left, and then the building was torn down. Anyone who's seen the movie knows what I mean. Like that opening scene might even be my favorite in the movie. Like it's so just to know that like you can put that much work into an action scene. It seems like they don't do that anymore. Like in Hollywood movies, like there's I mean every lots of movies have shootouts, but they're never of that
You don't destroy
caliber.
the whole building. It doesn't happen anymore like it does there.
Yeah, and it's just like even this like innocent people getting caught in the way. It was like it took brutality to a whole new level. It was like
Well, it was such a like that final kill scene where he killed. Like I don't even think you could kill someone like that in a Hollywood movie where he looks at him and then he's like, pew, and then he
yeah,
just like he's covered in white powder and he like gets blood splatter on his
yeah,
face.
it's like yeah, yeah. It was when I first saw that scene, I was like, I love this movie. Like even if the rest of it sucks, like this movie's already
This is
won me
worth the
over.
price of admission.
Yeah, and then it's just one after another. Like there's like the shootout in the warehouse, and then you got Mad Dog, the guy the guy with
He's
the
so
eye patch,
crazy. Yeah.
and it's like so many, and it's not just like two or three guys. These are shootouts with like motorbikes and cars and just like dozens and dozens of guys and grenades and it's like it like
It
I just
really
think
is that John Woo. Like it makes sense it was the last Hong Kong movie that John Woo made because he's just like, fuck it, we're gonna do. I didn't see any doves though. Maybe I missed them, but I was looking for doves. But like, it feels like he was just like, fuck it, we're just gonna throw everything into this movie.
yeah, it was and they even have like it's not like there's no story to it. Like the characters
No,
have arcs and they have the thing with like Alan. They're all like good characters. Like a movie like this usually wouldn't have that good of like character development. Like they but they kind of do, but like you don't really see a lot of their home life or anything, but you do they do develop the characters. They have even Mad Dog has his little arc where he's the craziest one out of all of them. But at the end
but
when
he
his boss
comes
wants to
around at the
kill
end.
yeah, when his boss wants to like kill the innocent people, he's kind of like, no, man. That's like he's like,
We're
oh,
in a
so he does have a
hospital.
heart.
Oh, right. I was gonna tell you like that. That's so funny. Or like I love hearing that kind of story where they were like, "Oh, well, this building's gonna be demolished. Can we film in there?" Because like that's Do you ever hear of a movie called Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS?
Don't think so.
So it's a movie, it's an old movie from the 80s or something like that. It's not the greatest, but it's set in a Nazi SS camp. And the whole story is there was this old TV show called Hogan's Heroes. And Hogan's Heroes is also set in a Nazi prison camp. And the producers of Ilsa found out that this TV show is going off the air and they're going to demolish the set. So they were like, hey, can we shoot a movie in here and then we'll demolish it for you? And then you don't have to pay for demolishing. We're all good. And then so the producers are like, yeah, that's perfect. You pay for it, we'll deal. So they shoot the movie in there, and the final scene of the movie is the Americans coming into the camp and destroying the camp and shooting everybody in the camp. So like they essentially made the destruction of the camp like the big set piece of their movie, and then like so I just love hearing that kind of thing where they're just like, we can destroy this. So how do we do it on screen so that it has the biggest impact?
Yeah, and it works perfectly because they were probably trying to keep their budget down. It looks like a big budget movie, but they it was still fairly low. So anyway, they could
Oh man, I
save,
can't
they could
imagine how
destroy a
much it
building without having to
costs.
pay for it to pay to have it destroyed. Like it's or they don't have
Let's
to pay to
go.
rebuild it basically or to put it back to normal. So
But also you got to like make sure you like you I'm just thinking of like you'd have to mark down every time you like we shot a bullet over here and it hit this wall so this wall is destroyed. We smashed this chair over here so this chair is destroyed. And then like yeah, I've never choreographed a destruction shootout scene, so I can't imagine how much notes and like meticulous time you'd have to take to like make sure it doesn't look stupid.
yeah, I bet you they prepared a lot for those. Like, and everything was so well staged. Like, you couldn't see any cheapness in it, where it's like, they kind of cut some
No,
corners, or filled it in with CGI or any bullshit. Like, it was like everything was just so
it
well
went
done.
whole hog the whole time.
There was some slow motion, but not a lot. When John Woo came to
Nope.
America, he kind of went overboard with the slow motion, and it kind of started to piss me off. But here it wasn't. There was a little bit, but not too much.
Did you catch his cameo in the movie?
Oh yeah, he had a few cameos.
I only caught him as the bartender.
But there was a few scenes with him though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said he played multiple
Oh
characters, and
no,
then I
no,
was
he's in a few scenes. But apparently Chow Yun Fat requested they do those want to have John Woo in the movie because they were friends or and he wanted to show like what does Tequila do when he's not, shooting bad guys and it's like, oh, he hangs out at a jazz bar and plays flute.
with old cops talking about bad guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like the bad guy in it, like you mentioned him earlier, the Johnny, is that his name?
Johnny
Yeah, Johnny.
Johnny Wong
Um
is the character's name. The actor's name is Anthony Wong.
Uh, yeah, like looking at him, he wouldn't think he doesn't look like he'd be the bad guy, like in a movie, like a gangster. But he was so good in that role. Like,
He's really good in that role. Like he's very menacing. But I guess that's his trade. He plays bad guys in all the Hong Kong movies. Like he's specifically known as like you want a mean looking motherfucker, get him.
no, that's cool. Like, I don't know any of the other than Chow Yun Fat. Like, I'm not familiar with any of these guys other than this movie. So yeah, I didn't
Um
know that. But it's like, yeah, I guess if he's good at playing a bad guy, then yeah, they picked the right choice.
Anthony Wong was in a really so like in China they have here we have like R-rated movies and then C-17 and all that. In China, it's called category 3 movies, which are movies that are like exceptionally bloody, exceptionally gory, exceptionally sexy. Like any of those kinds of movies are called category 3 movies. And Johnny Wong was in a famous category 3 movie called Oh, after it was a zombie style movie. Let me look this up here. It was very famous for being like he's very disgusting in that. He plays a killer who goes on like a murder spree and he's like hanging out in South Africa and eating infected pigs and murdering everyone. It was very like it was a crazy movie. So I like when I saw him be the bad guy in this, I was like, wait a minute, I recognize him. Honestly, this was kind of like a step like he wasn't as crazy he was in that category three movie. Yeah, I loved his portrayal as the bad guy. Do you know he's in the remake of the Emmanuel movies? Do you remember the Emmanuel
Yeah,
movies?
yeah. He's a when like
They
how
they,
old?
they
Remake.
remade it for 2024.
What? Jeez, how old? Like, he must be pretty old then.
2024. Yeah, I haven't seen the remake of it, but like I was looking through his IMDb and like he's in the new Emmanuel as a character known as the Eye. So I'm assuming he's another bad guy in it. Ebola
Probably.
Syndrome. Ebola Syndrome was the category three movie I watched where he goes to South Africa after murdering and killing people. So he runs off to South Africa and he eats a bunch of infected pigs and gets Ebola and then starts killing people because I guess they thought Ebola was like being a zombie.
Sounds amazing.
So yeah, anyways, when I saw him in this, I was just like, oh well, he's not eating people and he's not like foaming at the mouth. So step up, step down.
He's got that thing where like he like just looking at him, like he seems like a very clean cut, nice guy kind of thing.
Yes,
But he's good at like
but I
turning
think that's
menacing.
why that's why he's got such a prolific career in China is like that. Like yeah, he's very like oh whatever, but then like he'll like have this turn where he just murders everybody.
And it's kind of different because like yeah, like Mad Dog, like the henchman guy, he just looks kind of like a scary guy, especially when he gets like his eye injured, so he's got like the eye patch on. But it
Yeah.
turns out like he has more of a conscience than Johnny, like when you find out at the end.
He's just like can't kill all these innocent babies.
It's like, and for like no reason too. It's like they're trying to like get all the patients to safety, so all these patients are running out the building, and the bad guys are just mowing them down with machine guns for like no reason other than to be evil. It's like,
Well, I like how like when they were gonna kill the rival bad guy, and he's like, "You can kill me, that's fine. Just don't kill my boys." And then he kills him, and then they kill the boys, or
yeah.
like they try to kill the boys. Chow Yun Fat comes in, but I'm just like, you guys are just being evil for the sake of being evil.
And that was one of the good guys though. That was like Alan before you find out he's like undercover.
Yeah,
So it's like he just murdered
I
like
was very
100
confused
guys.
at that point in the movie. I was very confused at that point in the movie because I was like, wait a minute, isn't he a cop? Why is he killing everybody?
Yeah, I think he must. Yeah, I've never quite understood that. I think he's just
Trying to
a
keep his cover, I would.
yeah, I guess. And it's kind of like, well, if I can kill a whole bunch of bad guys, it's kind of my duty as a police officer. It's like, yeah, I always thought that was kind of, and
I
I
guess,
guess
yeah, means to an end.
it makes it maybe it makes the twist when you find out that oh he's one of the good guys. It makes it even more shocking because you've seen him do like all this bad stuff. But I guess it could just be like he doesn't want to blow his cover, so he may as well do what he has to do. And then I guess
Well,
if they kill that one gang, then instead of having to deal with Johnny's guys and his uncle's guys, it's like okay now we only have one gang to deal with because we just killed the other one.
I thought what it was going to turn into, like, well, as we were getting towards the end of the movie. So the plot of the movie, just to run it down very quickly, Chow Yun Fat is a cop, and he is caught out in this tea room shootout, and he accidentally kills a bad guy who turns out was going to be a witness for them. So now they've lost this case. Tony Lung is an undercover cop who's embedded with the bad guys, and they keep clashing. And eventually, Chow Yun Fat finds out that Tony Long is an undercover cop, and it's basically like how they keep clashing with each other, trying to solve the same case, essentially. What I thought was going to happen is after Foxy, the snitch, ended up in the hospital, and they were like, you go kill him, and you kill that cop too. I thought Tony Lung was going to be like, well, I have to kill him because of he knows my secret identity. He knows I'm an undercover cop, so I have to kill him. And then the gangsters won't know that I'm an undercover cop, and Chow Yun Fat is going to try and stop him, and then Tony Lung is going to become evil and like I have to kill him to keep my identity, but also I like being a bad guy. But it didn't go that way. But that's where I thought it was going to go.
Oh, okay. I think one
But
I think one main point that we have to talk about is that like crazy at the end, like last like third of the movie takes place in a hospital and it just like goes balls to the wall crazy with the shootouts. They have a 2 minute long shot that's like all one take and it's just like they're going through the hospital, a crazy gunfight. and the whole thing is done one shot, and they only did one take of it. They could only do one take. So if they screwed it up, like they blew the shot, and they made it work. And it's like I can't believe that they even attempted that.
Oh, nobody wants to screw that shot up either. I was gonna say, how crazy is it that there's like an underground bunker under the hospital
Yeah, and then they're using it
that
to
they ended up
like a big
finding on the
giant
door?
safe where they store their weapons, and yeah, that's it's like I think by that point you're not going to question anything. Like your mind's just going to be so
No,
blown.
no, no. You're just like, yeah, this is here. I'm just wondering how hospital administration didn't notice that people were building a bunker underneath. They were like, these construction guys keep coming back and forth. They're building steel into the building, but I'm sure it's fine.
Maybe they like paid off the bad guys paid off the hotel or the hospital. Yeah, who knows? I think you're not supposed to question it, but
I also like love like when Tony Long at the end he's like, I gotta unlock this door, and they've blown up the pipe and the exposed wiring is everywhere, and he's like, fuck it, this ought to work. And he grabs like one bunch of exposed wiring, the other bunch of exposed wiring. He's like, ah. Oh,
and even during that, I read during the 2 minute long like single take shot, apparently because they ride in an elevator, like they go
mhm.
down or up an elevator, but apparently that's on the same floor, so they closed because they shot all these guys. You see all these bodies and destruction. So apparently the elevator door is closed, but the elevator didn't move. And while they were
They
talking
just
inside
like
the elevator,
stayed there.
the crew came in, dragged all the fake bodies out of there, cleaned everything up, reset it to look like a different floor. And then the doors open and it looked like they're on a new floor, where it's actually the same one, just
That's nuts.
redecorated.
All in one shot, huh?
Yeah, all in one shot. And they like I don't know how
That's
many
wild.
guys died in there, like 120 died in that one shot. Like they were going down
Yeah.
hallways and they even like shot they accidentally shot one of their own guys, one of the other cops. And it's like, oh shit, we just killed the cop, and they just kept going, and it's like
Yeah, this is like pow, pow, pow.
there's if you analyze it like frame by frame, there's a couple parts where guys get shot and it's like the timing's off by a tiny bit. But you
Oh,
can
they're like
forgive it by
they
how hard that
coil
would have been
back.
too.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
coil back just before the bullet hits them. They're like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, there's no way you could have perfected that. And they only did it once,
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, that deserves a lot of credit.
At that point, they just have to be like, well, we got what we got, and we're gonna have to make it work.
I wonder if it didn't work, like if they totally blew it, I wonder if they just would have scrapped, like, all right, we're just not putting that in the movie.
Man, can you imagine how much? I would not be comfortable with that. I'd be just like, well, we're gonna try and get this, but if we fuck it up even a little bit, then we can't use the whole thing. So
And they probably trained for like days to do it. So if you're like the one
yeah.
person that you're the one that screws it up for everyone, like you would have been so
Well, I
humiliated.
saw Chow Yun Fat in an interview. He said he's not particularly athletic or skilled. He like relies very heavily on stuntmen and choreographers. So yeah, Jesus, just the amount of training and the amount of like down to the second timing.
Yeah, and I guess the one dumb thing, which I guess they were trying to be cute, was the part with Chow Yun Fat with the baby at the end, which is probably what you're talking about on
Hmm?
the poster, where basically he's trying to escape the hospital, which is burning down. His pants are on fire. He's trying to carry this baby, and the baby pees, and the urine trickles down his leg and puts out the fire. And it was kind of like that was like right in the last like 2 minutes of the movie, and it's like
I bet you that was in the original script. I
that
bet you that was in the original
yeah, that would
script.
tie into the baby story, but it's kind of like by this point the movie's impressed me enough that I can look over kind of some stupidity.
Well,
But
it's
yeah,
also like a fun way to end the movie, honestly. It's like I don't mind it quite as much. I feel like after all the craziness with the guns, you put that little like cherry on top. It's like, you know what? You earned your laugh,
yeah, I
movie.
guess they get
You
her
earned
getting a
your
little bit
laugh.
cute. So what would you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
I give it a solid 8.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
I give it exactly a
there's
solid 8.
there's there's certain things it could have done to like there's certain plot holes and stuff that like I can ignore, but that take away from it slightly. But yeah, an 8 is where it's just so cool. It's
And it is
again
like
Chow
it's
Yun
like
Fat with those two guns.
and there's a few things they could have cut out. Like the action scenes are as near perfect as you can get, but some of them it's like this is a bit too much of the same thing. Like they could have. It's a 2 hour movie. They probably could have trimmed like 15 minutes out, just like make the action a bit shorter, a bit tighter. But I mean, I'm not gonna like criticize it, nitpick it because it's like one of the best action movies out there.
It doesn't have a lot of fat on it. It has a lot. It has a lot of Chow Yun fat, but in
Yeah.
terms of like scenes, it moves quickly through everything, and you're not. sometimes I felt like I was missing plot because it moved so quickly. Because I was like, wait a minute, let me go back. Because like, who is this guy again? But like, yeah, it moves really quickly and it moves really well.
All right. Well, I guess we
Awesome.
both like that movie, so we'll see everyone next time for the next one. Bye for now.
Go watch Hard Boiled and comment in there what other movies you'd like us to watch.